What family secret was finally spilled in your family? 1. My grandmother recently passed away. She was famous in our town for her amazing cooking/catering, in particular her turkey dinners. Notably, her gravy was absolutely amazing. So delicious. She had a heart attack several years ago, and that scary experience convinced her to share some of her secret recipes with me, all except for her gravy recipe. When she passed away this spring, I was going through her pantry and found an entire bucket of KFC gravy mix. She was literally using KFC gravy mix as a base to make her incredible gravy. Huge scandal. 2. My grandma didn't drive. I thought she couldn't, but it was just never discussed. One day when I was maybe 7 or 8, I'd been trying to get anyone to drive me to the store for candy. We were visiting my aunt and uncle. Grandma lived with them. Finally I said I'd just ask Grandma, and my cousin chimes in with, "Grandma can't drive." "Oh, you bet your sweet butt I can drive. They just don't let me." Grandma had overheard and she was in high dudgeon. But that's all that was said about it, and my aunt finally took me to the store, so I forgot about it. Years later, when I'd just gotten my license, I asked my mom what was up with Grandma not driving. She explained that during Prohibition Grandma bootlegged drinks for moonshiners. She was very successful at it. She was so successful at it that when the moonshiners were finally busted, even though the revenuers never caught my grandma, her license was suspended by the state to never be reissued. Later in life she was told she could petition for it back, but it came with an admission of guilt or some such. She told him to go to hell. 3. When my mother was sick and I took over her finances, I found thousands of pounds of gambling debt on her credit cards. Then I found adoption papers for a child she did before me that she'd never mentioned. 4. We went to my grandmother's for Christmas dinner like we did every year, and my uncle drank too much, and kind of hinted that he had an affair with my mother. A couple of months and 2 DNA tests later we found out my sister is actually his daughter. My dad never spoke to his brother again. And of course, my parents got divorced. And I needed a lot of therapy. And chocolate. Gosh, we are trash. 5. My sister cheated on her husband throughout her entire marriage, to the point that all 3 of her kids have different biological fathers. 6. My dad fathered a child in high school. His side of the family knew, and my mom. We found out years after he passed away that we have a half-sister. 7. That my grandfather was an atomic soldier. Instead of sending him to fight in the Korean War, they sent him to Nevada, where, after having him turn away from the initial flash, he witnessed the mushroom cloud. After that was over, he was ordered to march to the detonation point, where he was unwittingly exposed to high amounts of radiation. Luckily for my family, my grandpa is now in his 90s, even after a few cancer scares, and the rest of us, my mom, aunt, cousins, sister, and I, are cancer-free and fairly healthy, but this is medical information that we really should have known earlier. 8. Found out my uncle is actually my brother. My mom had him when she was so young that my grandparents raised him. What